This is the energy update for August the 10th to the 16th. I'm Daisy Mack, and this podcast is called Spiritual Mixtape. Well, this week's episode is called Something is Crystallizing, and you're about to see the results. I talk about this week in the written update about what it feels like to have been waiting for your final exam, only to find at the end that you passed it, flying colours, but you don't recall taking the exam. This last year, has had a ton of nervous energy. And I feel this when I'm talking to you right now. There's just a lot of it. It's like the moment before the storm, before an electrical storm. There's so much charge. And we are so used to reading energy like this as something to worry about, as an exam coming, as something that you've got to pass to get to the other side. And if you don't pass it, what's going to happen? But the reality of that feeling is, even if it was a final exam, what would have happened if you flunked? Really, in the grand scheme of things, it may affect your near future, but it wouldn't kill you. It wouldn't stop the sun from rising tomorrow. But we build a lot of pressure around these feelings and around these moments. So when we come across a similar feeling, like this nervous energy, this charged energy, and I just did it just there. This charged energy I'm reading as nervous energy. It's not true. It means that change is coming. Something exciting that I've been working really hard for is almost here. But I'm so used to reading charge as a problem that I'm not being fully present for what it really is. Now, I would love to read you a comment from one of our community left on last week's, I was going to call it an email, video. I'm so nervous. I think I'm also very conscious. People keep saying that I'm AI or that I use a lot of AI, and it's made me nervous about the edit. I'm also dyslexic, so reading makes me feel really nervous as well. And I stopped doing that because people thought I was being really scripted. I just can't. And so I'm going to do a very light edit today. You're going to hear all of my ADHD, dyslexia ramblings, which sometimes I cut out because I just want to give you the information. But you guys asked for it. But here is the quote, and I'm going to, the comment, and I'm going to read it off my phone. And I haven't got my reading glasses, and I'm feeling really nervous. So it's from Gwen Gem. I love the Odysseus reference. When you spoke about shame, that reminded me of what Odysseus was processing upon his return to the Queen. So much shame and so much regret. I feel that we collectively are releasing shame, anger, and grief from the collective grid, from centuries of karmic looping. It takes time to break the loops, like you said. The new scripts have to be consciously rewritten. Thankfully, divine timing and grace are supporting us at whatever stage we're in. For many of us, this is a time to practice receiving, leaning into joy, progress over perfection, and that daily turning to the higher self for guidance. Patience. Patience has been one of the hardest parts for me. An acceptance of the slowness required to process and integrate all of the energy. Thank you for your wisdom and vulnerability and building this community. That nice bit was at the end was lovely. But I wanted to read that comment to you because with these energy updates, they're meant to be a forecast of what's coming. But what you can see from that comment is the reason why this resonates with you, how I read the energy resonates with you, is because you're already feeling it. A lot of what I take from how I understand the astrology, the numerology, the solar flares is dictated to by what I experience when I'm teaching breathwork and what my clients say to me, and also how I feel and how I'm experiencing the world. So it may be what we're talking about is next week, But all this year, we've been experiencing really big energies. And we're also experiencing the outer planets moving. That's a very slow process. So I loved what Gwen said here about acceptance of the slowness required to process and integrate all of this energy. I think that that's really, really key for this particular update this week. And it's a sign when your community say this stuff to you that what you're writing about and what you're hearing about now is right on time. I say in the written side of the update this week that we decided to be here. We, for whatever reason, picked this body and this life and this moment in time. There are just too many coincidences in the stars, but also in our lives right now, for us to not think that there was some kind of divine order to all of this madness. And that's the place that I want to start the podcast. Today I'm going to be talking to you about two particular energies next week. And what's really unfair is that they're such big energies, we can't do the podcast, we can't do a forecast without talking about them. But I actually don't talk to you about what happens on Saturday. And I actually think Saturday is one of the loveliest days of the year. Sweet Mercury conjoins, sits next to sweet Jupiter. So the through line really for this week, if you're thinking about it from start to finish, is that you have this amazing first 2 days where you get these amazing test results back, whether it's a test at school, whether it's a test at health, that feeling of complete relief and jubilance. But that high feeling does have a little bit of a bite to it. It has this thing called a kite. It's an opposition with Neptune. And it gives action to the feeling, but also a caution of not to not enjoy and accept when good things fall on your plate, but to be aware if you're leaning into a fantasy of what's happening, as opposed to really appreciating what's actually there and actually meant for you. So that's the first 2 days. And then the next 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, you get this lovely eclipse. And usually eclipses, a new moon, they are quite lovely. They are fresh starts in the theme of whatever moon is sitting in, whatever zodiac sign. And this one with an eclipse, they usually tend to be a bit more heightened. What you're leaving behind, what you're releasing, what you're letting go of. But this eclipse has two wonderful aspects and some other energy sitting on it. And that in itself makes this particular one quite soft. It still has tender, achy moments, and I've been saying that as a 4-week trend as well. But this moment in time, we're getting what we had last week of the darkest before the dawn, and then the dawn coming up, and you're like, thank goodness we've made it to first sunlight. But the way I see this week is you're about to have a flirty night out after a period of not wanting to ever be seen, just living in your pajamas and eating Haagen-Dazs and, not getting back to people or saying, sorry, I can't come, I'm busy, but you're actually busy with your cat and your, Netflix. And all of a sudden you are on this night out. And it's really good. And it's flirty. And it makes you feel beautiful and seen, just as you are. The size that you are now, not the size that you were when you were 20. You're beautiful with your wrinkles, you're beautiful with your awkward sense of humor, your messiness, and everyone who's there, not just a romantic interest, everyone who's there thinks that you are just the funnest person in the room. And rather than the night ending there, you get to go to breakfast with all your friends. I mean, it's wild because I wouldn't want to stay out all night. But there is this idea the whole way through this week that things are clouds and that clouds are really bad. But have you ever thought that that cloud may bring a beautiful rainstorm, and you could sing in the rain, you could smooch in the rain, you could have a movie moment, and if the rain wasn't there, it wouldn't be as romantic or as cinematic. The rain is actually the thing that makes it special. So now let me tell you about these two energies with more depth. And I said last week that I was pretty proud of my written version, and I'd say that again this week. If you want to read it, go into the free community. I'll also post it onto the show notes, and you don't have to even make an account then. You could just read it like a blog post. It's not gatewalled or anything like that. This is channeled for all of you to have. But if you want to support my business, you want to stay in touch, and you'd like it delivered to your inbox instead, join the free community. A trine. Major. It is an air Grand Trine. That's what's happening on Monday and Tuesday. And it's very much an echo of what's been happening in July. We had a minor Grand Trine with the outer planets. This time we have an air Grand Trine, predominantly with sweet Venus in focus. So for the last few weeks, Venus has been in a sign that she doesn't do well in. And because of that, we've felt restriction with our creativity, with our money, and just being a little bit on the outs. That changes this week. She moves into a sign that she is happier in. And she also has this air Grand Trine. And an air Grand Trine feels good to you and I. It feels enjoyable. It's not winning the lottery, but it's what I said earlier. It's like going on a great night out that you weren't expecting, or an unexpected day out. You know, you sort of meet a friend for lunch and it meanders into, fun things in the evening. What would I actually like to do? I keep talking about references of going out. I'm definitely not someone that goes out. I would love to meet my friend, go for some kind of like long walk by the beach, and then sit down and get dinner, more friends join, and you end up maybe catching a movie. This is my idea now, not what everybody else wants. But say we were in a film, you could go for the beach walk. Let's keep it. That is what the Grand Trine will feel like. The surprise additions is what Tuesday will feel like. And don't expect these to necessarily be external. You might just wake up feeling better, which is such a revelation after this nervous energy that is sitting over everything right now. Can I really trust that things are working out, or am I actually just waiting for the next shoe to drop? Is that the right phrase? The way I see this, and to carry on the Odyssey theme, is I see this as a homecoming. So there were two poems by Homer. The Iliad, which comes first, it's about the actual Trojan War, and then the Odyssey, which is about your boy Odysseus coming home. And we've talked about what it's like to be on the shore, and that is definitely something that's going to be talked about again in the eclipse part. There was a collection of poems that followed Homer's Odyssey called Nostoi, and it was about homecomings, it was about returns. But it was the returns of all the Greek gods. And if we think of ourselves as all the Greek gods, you and I, and sometimes doesn't our life feel like that? Like a little like, whoa, how much more plot twists and left turns can we take here, or curveballs? And the reason I bring it up is I really think that everything that's happening with this weakened Leo, with this idea of how we shine publicly and how we're seen, you are not coming home as 2007 you, or even as 2018 you. There's a lot talking to 2018 as well. You are coming back as, I wouldn't even say 2026 you. You are coming back into this timeline right now as future you, as 2030 you, 2032 you. Because something great is coming. And that version of you is coming in to hold your hand and carry you, bring you, guide you through the last of these troubled waters. So let me tell you as well about the eclipses. And I don't want you to worry about this because I know I've just said things like troubled water and, final exams. We just aren't at the finish line yet. Something has crystallized within you. You know it. It's changed. It's shifted. It's all of those things. It feels rich and good, but you don't have the words for it. You don't really have the experience of it yet. And you definitely don't quite have a path from A to B. But it isn't bad. We've just been kicked about a little bit to get here. So it's hard to trust that the bad and the difficult times are behind us. Look, to think that we won't have any adversity for the next, I hope I'm here for another 40 years is silly. But I said with the Capricorn full moon, does your life honor everything you've survived? When we keep thinking that something bad is coming, that's not honoring what we've survived. It's actually not taking the goodness of the lessons, the tough lessons, and making them brilliant. But let me talk to you about this eclipse. So we have an eclipse in Leo. And the last time it was at this degree point, oh my gosh, it's actually happened a lot. But the last time it was at this degree point was in 2018, but it was on the other node, the node where it likes to be. So let's say it was visiting its two brothers right now, and he's now staying at the brother he doesn't love. But he, back in 2018 was with the brother he loved, the brother where he's willing to take advice from. I don't know why I said brother, I've only got a sister. But that's the energy I feel these poles are on for him. It's a masculine energy. This eclipse has two really special things happening alongside it that don't happen all the time. One is this 6-planet parade. And I want to just give a correction here. Everyone keeps saying that Venus is also visible in the sky. She is, but she's not part of the parade. She's on the other side of the sky. That's a really big misconception. And it really does lean into what I was saying last week, that this is not a moment to be manifesting. Venus is very much our manifesting planet. She's in charge of money and creativity. And she's on the other side of the sky right now. She isn't part of this 6-planet parade. But what is great about this 6-planet parade is right after the eclipse, just before the dawn, hello, doesn't this sound like Sirius last week? Just before the dawn, these planets all become visible, all in a row in the sky. Not all of it is visible to the naked eye, but if we trust, they'll all be there. And that is the idea of something spectacular being on the other side of the darkest night. And look, if that wasn't enough, we also have the Perseids, I hope I'm saying that, Perseids meteor shower. And meteors, I like to think of them as cosmic stardust being sprinkled over the sky. And as those embers float down into our atmosphere, they line our subconscious with the things that we need to know. It's such a lovely concept, and I don't know if it will resonate with everyone, but it's a lovely, lovely, lovely idea. But beyond that, they're also visible. And the last time they were this visible was in 2018. Now, I'll just explain this without astronomy or astrology stuff here. When you have a new moon, which is technically what we've got with this eclipse on Wednesday, that is when the sky is dark. That's when the moon has no light from the sun, so no moonlight. It means that the sky is completely black. And that makes things like the parade of planets and the meteor storm more visible. So this year, when we have a weakened Leo who's worried about his public figure, who wants to let go of what doesn't suit him anymore, he wants to shine in a way that feels good in his heart, and he's feeling like he's in this dark night of deciding and being a bit embarrassed and a bit ashamed of who he's been to get here. And that actually the shame is the thing that's going to make him shine in a better way. But he just feels in the dark. Yet what's really important is at his darkest moment, He's been gifted light from other sources. And that's so important for us to know, because we don't need to keep producing the light all the time. We also don't need to give our light away for free. There are so many ways in which we are being supported if we're open to receive. Last week, Sirius came up before the dawn. This week, we have 6 planets. 6 planets visible before the dawn. And we have this meteor shower visible and peaking just before the dawn. This is all happening at the same time. And what's standing apart from that is really our true destiny. Like, let's think about Venus right now as holding our true destiny, and all we've got to do is stand still long enough for her to come around. So this week I think that we are still on the shore. But what a place to be, to sit and watch all of these amazing, amazing aspects happening in the sky. I say also in the written that I think this is a moment where we can really choose the highest timeline and go. But for us, or some of us at least, who are opting to stay on the shore, who feel like, I'm good with how far I've got right now, I want to take a minute, I want to sit and watch and wait. Not only do we get to see all of these planets and all of these stars doing these amazing things for us, we also get to see a few people that we love take the highest timeline. Get to watch their success, and we get to know that it's real. Pay attention to your dreams this week. Not just the ones that you have in your sleep, but the daydreams, where your mind goes when you are thinking about what's coming next, or how you would like the next thing to play out. That's really how these meteors are going to work with the eclipse energy and with the Grand Trine and with Sirius. I mean, gosh, there's just so much happening. It's really a lot. And the final thing that I'll leave you with, the final piece of advice, is that you are not overwhelmed by all of these things and by how much you've got on your plate. You're just a little overstimulated right now. The nervous energy, the extra charge. Don't let reading overstimulation as overwhelm be the thing that makes you miss the more gentle aspects of the week. The flirtiness, the getting wrapped up on a fun night out or a fun day out, because they are subtler. And if you get caught in the crisis mode, you just simply won't be present enough to catch those little burning embers that are coming down from the sky. Okay, I'll see you next week. We'll be mid-eclipses. We have a very emotional Pisces eclipse coming at the end of the month, but we can handle it. And if you didn't hear me say it last week, I really do think taking a little bit of time off or having a nice day around the Pisces eclipse is the one. I wrote in the written update how to have a future date, and I want to say you should do that. I'm going to take myself on my own future date on Wednesday, actually on the eclipse, because there's a very sweet and subtle energy with Mercury coming in underneath all of everything that basically wants you to take votes on your future self. So my thing to you this week, all the ways in which I ask for comments or, subscribe, don't worry about that. Put yourself first here and go on a future date. If you want to read a bit more about that, read the written, and just take care of yourself with your extra energy. I really loved hanging out with you. That's all I want.